You know what I mean? I don't like being in front of a camera. So if you go on my Instagram, it's all my work. You won't see selfies of me. You won't see any of that stuff. And I had a manager for a while. And I remember one day I had, Jamie Foxx did a video for me thanking me for something I did for him. And my manager went crazy. Oh, you got to post that. You got to post that. Couldn't do it. And he actually left me because he goes, I can take you from whatever 10,000 followers to 100. This is what they want to see, but that just wasn't me. So I kept true to myself.
Big it up, big it up. Yep. Hear in my voice. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
Welcome to Let's Talk Real with Mel. We are here with Idris Erba, celebrity content creator. What is, for those that may not know, what is content creation?
Basically just kind of taking photos or video and using it to utilize client's brand, to kind of incorporate everything. For instance, now with like Tom Ferry, he's got so many things going on, so he's got this new on the roadmap that he's doing. So in that instance, I'm kind of taking all of the stills and video, we're creating marketing pieces.
Okay, so marketing and branding, and putting it all together as content creation.
Yeah, commercials, for YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, things like that.
Okay, and how long have you been doing this?
About 10 years now, maybe a little longer.
Okay,
yeah.
10 years. And you don't just create content for Tom Ferry, you have a host of celebrities.
Yeah. My background is entertainment. I'm from Los Angeles, relocated to Dallas, for Tom, but I was at Disney for a while, worked at The Rock, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Hart, Denzel, Mayweather for many years, Ronaldo. Yeah, I've been very blessed.
Okay,
worked with some really cool clients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So probably been right in the getting all of the good shots.
Yeah.
So when we see those front page pictures or those magazine centerfold pictures, you're on the other side of that camera.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. What got you into this?
Like I said, I was at Disney for a while and doing photography. I just always loved photography. That's my foundation, is photography. And then as it just evolved, social media got bigger. Everyone started to get into videos. So that was the next jump. And so I just kind of took my style of photos, which was black and white, and kind of went into video with it. And then as just social media expanded, everyone became their own marketing machine, through Instagram, Facebook, now TikTok. So I just kind of kept up with the trends and just kind of, kept incorporating. What really made the evolution was when I was with Floyd Mayweather, we had years of content. And I was like, what are we doing with all of this? We should be making money off this. Started doing, now my photos are being utilized for posters and then books, put them on T-shirts.
Right.
And so the industry I was in, they were all kind of doing the same thing. So that's kind of how it just jumped to different clients doing the same thing, just on different scales. Where now with social media, you could do all this yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kept that evolution with Tom Ferry. Just keeping everything in-house. We produce it, we put out what we want, we release what we want, and
So you handle the capturing, and then do you also do some of the edits as well, like the video that
I try to do the more heavy lifting. Moving forward, it's gonna be difficult. He's got this road show where it's got a concert basically. I think in 52 weeks we're doing like 40 cities, something like that. So I think I'll get a good amount of it. Photos for sure, I can edit, no time, but the videos I'll probably do a little baseline and then kick it to other people in the crew to wrap up the edits. As will be.
Yeah, there's no downtime.
No.
Or hardly any.
None of this one coming up. Yeah, it's really crazy.
So you're on the, even in before, working with Tom and other things, you're probably travel a lot. You're all over the world.
Yeah, I've been very blessed. The downside is, no wife, no kids, but yeah, for the most part, I've been on the road. With Mayweather, we would travel after a tour. We'd go on these crazy, travel dates, different countries to promote himself,
Okay.
China, Dubai, Russia. We'd go all over, just promoting the Mayweather brand. So yeah, travel.
Hell of a passport.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Seen a place or two.
For sure.
All right, what's your favorite? What was your favorite place? Your favorite place in the globe that you?
Man, I
visited?
had a lot of fun in China, Shanghai. I think Shanghai was so futuristic, man. It was just like New York on steroids, you know?
Wow, yes, on steroids.
So big, clean. But just, the technology was it was beautiful. Yeah, it was nice. That was a lot of fun.
And so now, what in your journey? I said, 10 years, I guess, full time as a celebrity content creator. What would you do before? I mean, you've always had the interest in photography, but what was your life like before?
I did everything to make ends meet, man. Clean pools, worked at the Gap, Old Navy, Urban Outfitters. I did whatever I could to make ends meet. I knew what my heart wanted to do. Living in LA, you throw a rock, you hit 20 photographers. So I just kept plugging away, trying to make myself stand out. You just, because my parents are very good parents, but they didn't, financially, there was no money for college for me or no money for a car. So at a young age, 16 years old, I was working, but that gave me kind of the hustle and the drive. You know what I mean? Not having certain things just gave me that hustle and ambition to just go out and get it.
Yeah. So you knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is why I think Tom and I click so well. A lot of what he says on stage, I've always applied it, but in a different forum, right? Not in real estate, for instance, but in my industry, because like I said, they don't need any more photographers. They don't need any more video people. How do you stand out?
Well, they may be the best photographers, right? That's so they're looking. That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
And the best videographers. So how did you? So I'm sure were you still doing freelance work when you were working at those other places along the way?
Of course, yeah. My heart was always in photography, so it was just you have a job to bring in money to kind of get your gear, to build your arson. But yeah, I was doing kids soccer early on, bar mitzvahs, anything to pay the bills. Until you just, keep building that foundation and that portfolio. And, then it just kind of all clicks. It took about 5-6 years.
Okay, 5-6 years full time to get it to.
About that, yeah.
What was, and I'm sure it sounds like, along that way, it wasn't always easy. What fuel did you use to kind of keep your eyes on the prize? So, because a lot of people, and LA is not a cheap place. Are you born and raised in LA?
I was born in, mom and dad, born in Puerto Rico, raised in New York. My mom went to UC Berkeley, where I was born in Berkeley. So I was in the Bay Area for like 5-6 years, and we came down to Southern Cali.
Okay.
And I was there, that was it.
Yeah, very expensive place to live.
Yeah.
Most people move there with dreams and either stay there and falter, or they move back wherever they came from.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, what fuel did you use to keep your eyes on the prize and say, no, I'm not going to give up on this dream?
Corny stuff. I wanted to make my mom proud. Just not giving up, man. I just, being from Puerto Rico, we're not really handed much, you know what I mean? And we're not supposed to make it. And just have that drive and that hustle. And I knew I had to put everything in that, because to me, there was no fallback. I wasn't good at a 9-to-5. I wasn't that good in school. So this kind of had to work, and I just loved doing it. I wanted to travel the world. I knew this would give me the opportunity to see the world, photography. So just, and allergic to the word no.
Yeah. I think so. Resilience.
Yeah. I don't hear that word no. I mean, the amount of times I've been rejected outweighs the yeses. Most of my clients that I have were all no's. You just hear no from this guy or girl and you just go this way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you just get creative, fake it till you make it. That was the early part. Do a lot of that. But like a true story, with Mayweather, I guess this is what separates, right? I was in LA, and for months I was trying to get a hold of Mayweather's people. And you just go through all these channels, and finally got hold of the VP, Nicole Craig. And she'd be calling me at 4 a.m. So I knew already there was a different level. Man, this girl's up at 4 a.m. calling me, like different levels of hustle. Mm-hmm. So I had to change out a little bit. But one day she called me up and said, hey, can you meet today at 12 o'clock? I want to talk to you about your work. I said, sure. Now I was in LA. She was in Vegas. That's where they were based out of. I knew I couldn't make it by 12 o'clock to Vegas. So I said to her, I lied and said, hey, I got a meeting at 12. Can you do 4? If I had a meeting with you, I wouldn't break it. She goes, okay, I respect that. So she said, sure, do 4 o'clock. I got in my cheap Honda Civic and I drove my ass 4.5 hours out there,
Awesome, man.
not knowing what was going to happen. Met her at some restaurant in Neiman Marcus, and the rest was history, you know. But I knew that was an opportunity. I mean, how many people would kill to work for Mayweather? So I could have said to her, hey, I'm in LA. Could we do this weekend? Then there may not have been another chance for that. So I was like, and that was it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes those change. I mean, because if you say, oh, today's work doesn't work, maybe you don't get you don't get another phone call.
Yeah.
You know, they just call the next person.
That's it. And I knew that who wouldn't want to do that job, you know? So I went out there and we met, we clicked. So happened that about 2 weeks later, there was an event in LA. She wanted me to kind of shoot, see how Floyd thought of me. She asked me what my rate was. And I said, look, I'll do it free of charge. I want to make sure you like what I do, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I did it. The rest was history. And then about a month later, she had me work an event that was his fighters. He had a stable of fighters. And so I worked that event. Then after that, I got the phone call. He's fighting Miguel Cotto, you know?
Wow.
And they want you ringside. That
Wow.
was it. And I'd never shot boxing before. So I lied to her, right? But I knew, given the opportunity, what I could do. So I went to my local gyms and just going to boxing gloves. But then I knew, like, man, there's levels. Like, these guys are good, but not Mayweather good. And so I would just, you know, but I just did my research, you know, right settings. And you know, that was it. And it was just, the rest was history.
And was that the first big break?
That was the first real big break, yeah. And then, you know, the difference between me and a lot of other people was, you know, I love Mayweather, you know, he's a party guy, you know, he has a good time. I didn't care about that. My thing was, after an event, you know, you're backstage, everyone's there. Jamie Foxx, Denzel, everyone's there. So my thing was, the hell with the parties, I want to meet the managers.
Right.
You know, so I would sit here and I'd get the managers together. Hey, you want a photo with Mayweather? And I'd take a photo and then I'd, you know, send that photo to the manager. Now you got an in.
Now you got an email and a phone number.
That's it.
Maybe, yeah.
And they see your quality and you got that relationship. So now when I'm back in LA, you know, hey, Dave, what's up, man? Remember me? Yeah, you know, Fox got this thing going on. And they roll in that circle. So I'd always tell people, like, you know, when you're in a position like that, take advantage of it. You know, like same thing with Tom Ferry, for instance, right? Like he's around these high-end real estate people. So I'm getting these phone numbers now, and I'm just, now I live in Dallas, and it's just like the real estate's so different than LA, and I'm coming to Dallas with LA money. So now I'm just at a different level now where it's like you meet these real estate people, and it's just now they're giving you advice that I never knew, you know? And I'm not afraid to say I don't know, but show me how.
Right.
You know? So I always had that approach, you know, take advantage of a good situation. A lot of people, when they hang out with celebrities, it's parties and fun and all this stuff, and that's cool and all, but I took it as, this won't last forever, so let me get as much out of it as I can.
Yeah, and creating those relations. I think you said you made the multiple excellent points. The not being afraid of no, not even hearing no. Just no is what we used to always say in our office, no for now.
Yeah.
It's not no, it's no for now.
Yeah.
Because no's do turn to yeses when you ask enough times.
Yeah. And you bring in what you, like when I looked at your Instagram, it's all positive. And there was a point where I was living in the back of my car when it got rough.
Yeah.
And no one knew that. Because when I ran into someone, what's up, man? How's it going? Oh, everything's great. No one wants to hear a sob story. I just always had that look of I was doing good.
Yeah, and I think you have to.
You have to.
Because we're going to what we think about, what we harbor in, and nothing's perfect. Nothing's but we know, you know, I've had challenge, you know, we've had, you know, I've experienced significant challenge. I don't know anyone who hasn't, but how you adapt to it. Do you cry the blues, or do you just keep pushing? And it sounds like you just keep pushing.
Keep pushing, you know, you'll get hurt, you get upset, but you gotta keep plugging away. You know what I mean? Like there's 1,000 people who want that job, you know, there's 1,000 people who want to be like Tom Ferry. You know, so that's what keeps him on his edge. That's what keeps him so good, keeps him relevant. You know, he's always reading, always learning, you know, and it's the same thing with me, you know, what's a new camera to get? What's a new this to get? What's new programs I should learn? But then as you get bigger too, it's all about, like you got here, your team. You can't do it all on yourself. So you get the right editors, you know, you get people to do your emailers for you. things like that. And that's what just makes things expand and get bigger.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So where do you, I mean, you're, obviously in this space, and you still have other clients as well.
Yeah.
How do you see your business in the next, 5 years?
What I want to do is I left LA. I did everything I could do photography wise. Like I was very happy with what I did. I still work, let's say, with Jamie Foxx, right? He has a pickleball company coming out. He's getting involved in that. So I'm going to help him with a little bit of his branding and marketing with that.
Kind of popular with pickleball stuff.
Getting huge, man. I mean, they actually hit Tom Ferry up to invest in a team. What I want to do now is get more on the marketing side for me. So a few years ago, I published a Mayweather book. Did very well. So now I want to start focusing more on me, doing like a kind of like a how do you say it, a best of book of my work. So I'm going to be working on that for the next year or two, and just more now, not so, maybe do 1 or 2 clients, but just more of now marketing my stuff, right? Getting more merchandise, but on just my end now, kind of do it for me.
Yeah, and do your marketing yourself.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to. So you're probably gonna be a tough customer to hire someone to take photos of you.
Yeah, which is very, it's funny. They were talking about that today, right? Social media. One thing I was always good at was just understanding me. Like this is hard for me. You know what I mean? I don't like being in front of a camera. So if you go on my Instagram, it's all my work. You won't see selfies of me. You won't see any of that stuff. And I had a manager for a while. And I remember one day I had Jamie Foxx did a video for me thanking me for something I did for him. And my manager went crazy. Oh, you got to post it. You got to post that. Couldn't do it. And he actually left me because he goes, I can take you from whatever 10,000 followers to 100. But this is what they want to see. But that just wasn't me. So I kept true to myself. The work always came. But I just didn't feel comfortable being like a Glenda, right? Like she's great at that. I can't do that though, But I always knew that about myself. So I always came off kind of real. You know what I mean? Not knocking anyone who does it. I wish I could do it, but I'm just more low key. I always but to me, that's how my clients kept coming back to me because they knew when I worked with them, it was about them. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to one up them, so it worked good for me. So I always knew my brand that way where I'm always the fly on the wall guy.
Yeah. And you're very, I mean, our paths have crossed for a couple of years now, and we always speak and we see each other at events and things. Yeah. And, you're always very, very humble, but you're right front row all the time. You're getting getting that. You're always in the right place at the right time and get the right shot.
And understanding, like Tom has built a huge level of success and wealth, but knowing when not to show certain things. He's not the bling bling guy, though he has it. So it's the knowledge of your client. Mayweather, millions of watch, he wants all that to be shown. With someone like Tom Ferry, he doesn't. So there's a strategic way to kind of showcase the level of success he's achieved, but also not come off like, arrogant, because that's not him. So you have to learn learn your clients.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think, you made another one. The first one was, being true to yourself. A lot of times in business and different businesses, when folks are trying to get business, they'll get any business and they'll bend over backwards or maybe even jeopardize quality and other things to try to get more business but and that usually doesn't end well. Because then it's hard to, like, what's your persona? Like, who are you?
No. But I had someone earlier today ask me about that, and I looked at their social media and I said, do you want me to be blunt? They're like, please, and I said, when I look at your Instagram, I won't say her name, but when I look at her Instagram, it's like, are you selling your body or houses? Because I know you're hot, but I don't know nothing about real estate looking at you. I mean, how many selfies can one person do? How about showing more of
your work
or your clients, because if I look at this, I just see another hot chick taking selfies, and when you have 1,000 posts and 900 of you, you're telling your fan base it's about you. It's not about what you do. So if I'm looking for a house, I might go to someone else now because I'm going to look at her and be like, well, she's probably just going to, And so you just have to be more self-aware. When you look at my social media, it's all about my clients. It's not about me. It's about my clients.
And your services.
And my services. Yeah. And you know. So I always try, when people ask me, I try to let them know that it's hard sometimes because we live in a world now where
everyone's sensitive.
yeah, you're a hater,
Right.
so I just try to, but if they ask me the truth, and you hear Tom say that a lot too, guys do it as well. You have guys who drive Honda Civics and then, later on they're doing poses in front of Rolls Royces, so it's, I always say be real. That's the best thing because there's an audience for everybody. There's an audience for the higher end. There's an audience for, I know people that do just bar mitzvahs and they make six figures, and that's what they market to.
And
they're the best
specialists. Yeah, they're specialists at that. They know exactly when the moments are, when to get the right shot.
That's it. Yeah. So it's I prefer doing this actually. It's less you have to be built differently for sometimes celebrity work because they roll very differently. Mayweather, we'd get the phone call at 3 a.m. He's training, and we train till 7, 8 a.m. And so it's a different lifestyle.
Well, they have to be ready.
Always have to be ready. And there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of suffering that goes with it. I'm not married, no kids. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be one of those guys where, hey, see you in 2 weeks, kid. See you in 3. I didn't want to be that guy, so I made a decision to, follow my craft and my passion. There's downfalls to it, Yeah.
There's no, the thing is, there's no perfect scenario.
No, there isn't.
And there is always a sacrifice. It doesn't matter what it is. When you're only one person, we can only be in one place at one time. There are always different, competing interests pulling for attention, and the thing is, you have to choose.
Yeah,
you choose.
But like I said, what they say on stage is very similar to just what I do. It's just hard work, dedication. It's making the phone calls. For me, I wouldn't call realtors or people for houses. I'm calling art directors. I'm calling creative directors. I go on Instagram and let's say if I see someone who I want to work for, right? Let's say whoever, The Rock. I look at who he's following. Who's The Rock following? And I start looking to those people because he's following important people. He's not following Joe Schmo.
Mm-hmm.
And you start through there. You're like, wow, who's the art director? Oh, wow, he's the creative director for, $7. And that's how I start. And that's what I tell people. When you go on social media, there's a pro and a con to it because you can 2 hours later, damn, you know what I mean? Like, what did I get out of that? Or there's good things to
do your homework.
Social media is a gift and a curse, So that's what I always try to do. If there's someone who I want to work for, I go and see who they're following, because they're following usually their managers, their PR people, and then that's how I kind of start my, quest to get with them.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point about being intentional.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will get into whether they want to be a photographer, videographer, or real estate professional, or barber, beautician, whatever it is, restaurateur, and they just think that, well, I'm who I am, and I may have a very good product, and that people will just come to me. But we know that that's not not the way that it works. You have to actually do your homework, as you've done, and you were intentional. You figured out what it was that you wanted, and you've gone after it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just it's hard. It's not easy, but hard work pays off, man. Hustle and ambition.
Yeah. What would you say to a young aspiring videographer or photographer, the teenager that's really wanted to do it, or the 20-something one who's doing it but struggling and trying to figure it out and determine if they have to maybe put that on the back burner and do something else. And sometimes there's parental pressure and other things. But what would you say to that person that's trying to follow their passion, whatever it is?
Yeah, you really have to just know your craft, right? Like, you should have a style, like in my sense with video or photography, have a style, but it's really just, like I said, you don't hear the word no, and you just get clever ways to get your stuff out there. Like I said, go to the art directors, go to the creative directors. There's an art to a freebie. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get to someone and you say, hey, let me do something for you. I'm not going to charge you. And if you like it, we can talk after that. But that just gets you to the front door. A lot of times that helps.
And you still have to perform.
Still have to perform.
Yeah, they don't want free crap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But also you have to be real with yourself. I'll never be a basketball player. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I love sports, I'll never be a quarterback. I'm not 6'4". So you have to be real. Now, I can maybe be a coach, but I can't be a player. And a lot of times people, that's the other thing as well too, right? Like, know your limitations, know what you're good at. Maybe you're a great video person, but not photo person. You know what I mean? Maybe you're a great editor, but you don't know how to take videos, because there's money in everything. You know what I mean? Like, I always say, be the Michael Jordan in that one thing.
Right.
I think I'm a better photo guy than video person. You know what I mean?
I'm a specialist.
Yeah.
Tactical.
Yeah.
You don't want the shoulder surgeon doing your knee surgery.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's 100%.
I'd rather get a knee surgery.
Yeah, that's 100%. But it's, like I said, it's just really, I'm tone deaf to no, man. And that's why, like I said, Tom and I, we relate very well, because it really is just do the work, man. It's the stuff that's not fun. I mean, I think about, like, I could shoot for 2 hours, but it was 8 getting that. You know what I mean? Or 10 or 20 getting that, So it's just, yeah. And it's not always glamorous, man. It's not. I mean, it's, it could be tough sometimes.
Yeah, well, everyone, and I think, outlets like Instagram and television has not made things easier for those behind the scenes that are actually doing the work. It actually looks very
easy. That's why it's called Insta. And you're 100%, right? Like, you could look at Jay-Z in the Rolls Royce. Damn, I want to do that. But what it doesn't show is 20 years. You know what I mean? And that's why I think social media has really hurt the youth a little bit. Some kids get it, some don't. But yeah, no, I mean, it's, that's when people look at my work, and that's what I always hear in the DMs. How'd you get The Rock and Kevin and all this? And I was like, that's years, man. You don't just make a phone call and say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow.
You get lucky.
Yeah.
No. You just got lucky.
Yeah. But Instagram doesn't show all of that. You know what I mean? They don't show the phone calls, doesn't show the presentations you have to put together, all that stuff.
Yeah, the rejection after rejection after rejection.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's yeah, you got to develop a thick skin, and it's like I said, it's very misleading too, right? Because a lot of times I'll get kids reach out to me, and it's they'll complain about likes or this or that. I'm like, those likes ain't paying your bills, man. Like, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, because it's very misleading. Because we do, like you said, we live in a generation where everyone gets offended, right? So, but there's also a reverse to it. People will come to me and say, hey, can you critique my work? And I'll say, well, this one here, well, I got 1,000 likes. Well, it's like, yeah, but does that mean anything? You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that to a director or someone who's hiring you and say you got 1,000 likes. That means nothing.
And they should hire you.
You can't go to the bank and they can't cash those likes in. Like, the problem is sometimes social media builds people up, but it's not always in an honest way. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some realtors here who have incredible followers, and they're not making much sales. They look hot, and even to this day, I'll tell people all the time, I could have a photo of Jesus shaking my hand, and if a girl has her top off, that'll get more likes. Yeah, I keep things in perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it's the
true.
truth, though.
Yeah, no.
It really is true.
What, I mean, yeah, life is not an algorithm.
No.
Yeah.
I put things in perspective. Like, it's really weird sometimes, but you just have to do what's right, And so for me, like, when people keep calling me, for my work, then I know I'm doing something right,
Well, I've been seeing you for years, just at this point, and this was so you're definitely doing a lot of things right. And I've got a quote too.
Yeah.
So we got a quote of the day. Oh, we did. You got and I know he's engaged. He's engaged in what you're saying. So, shoot. What?
Yeah, man.
Reggie Minor, security.
Yeah.
Reggie was a security guard at Gonzaga High School.
Okay.
Where I went to high school in D.C. He was a security guard, and I was a freshman. I weighed 90 pounds. I got cut from football because I was too small. Tried out for basketball. Right. Got cut.
Yeah.
That. And then winter rolled. I'm like, man, I thought I was going to be a star football player or a star, And then he said, you should try for wrestling. He was the assistant wrestling coach. And I was like, I'd never even really seen wrestling before.
Mm-hmm.
Tried out for wrestling. And because I was little, and there weren't a lot of little guys, I was kind of short and a little stocky, ended up being okay. They put me on varsity freshman year, sophomore year, but by senior year, I ended up being a D1 national qualifier in college, wrestler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, silver medalist, world, from Reggie. The next year, our sophomore year, our wrestling coach died, and they overlooked, Reggie wanted to be the head coach, and they overlooked him and brought some other guy in and gave him the job. Reggie was pissed, quit the high school, started a security company.
That's how it works.
And then now got in with Mayweather and did Hulk Hogan and all the same thing. Got
adversity. Take a negative turn to a positive.
He lives in my neighborhood still. I mean, he lives in So I run into him at Costco or Wegmans sometimes.
That's how it works, man.
And we rap. He's a really cool. I got inducted into the Hall of Fame at our high school, and my speech. I gave Reggie Minor a shot.
That's awesome.
Because never would have.
No, man. That's how it works. That's it.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let me give the quote of the day.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Do you want me to talk about it, or are you just going to give me a quote?
I'm going to share it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to just try one more time. Thomas Edison. Right? Yeah. He had thousands of inventions. Most of them failed, but
look, you will fail more than you succeed. It's just a fact. It is. And I think that's, like I said, once again, what's hard about social media is you don't see the fails. You just see the wins. And so that's what's hard, I think, for younger people to understand that. But yeah, man, Lord have mercy, I think all the fails I've had.
Yeah, they'll just delete the ones that don't get the likes.
Yeah, no, to me, it's la la land. I mean, there's some people that really live that life, but for the most part, it's la la land. I don't. I don't. I mean, even if I see someone, I become so, skeptical. I hate it because it's just like, because I'll see people and I'm like, I thought he had a black Bentley. Okay. Right. I guess he wanted to take your cord out tonight. You know what I mean? It's a facade. And I come from LA, which is, forget it. I mean, you don't know what's real on girls, let alone.
Yeah, they're driving. Is it a one-day rental? Is it a lease?
We can go to days. This could be 2 hours if I go into those stories, man.
The 1 hour rental, just to show up to the party, let the valet driver return it back to.
Real quick, I know people that would make business cards before they go out, and they would put John Smith, PhD, John Smith, producer, go rent out a Jag, and they'd pick people up all next day. It's just fake, man. It's so fake. And that's one thing that I'm proud of myself too, because you get caught up in that in the beginning. Because you're a person who wants to believe someone face value. Mm-hmm. And as you get older, you start learning real quick the BS artist.
Yeah.
And I think that's, to me, it's all about, you want to be a Mercedes, if you want to be a Mercedes, you act like one. You want to be a Ford, you act like a Ford. What do you want to, what do you want to, people to look at you as? And photography is a small part of it. The business is it's everything. And it's learning, real quick, who can you trust, who can't you trust, who's wasting your time, so that's really the whole learning process is that part of it,
learning the behavior and relationships and which relationships are genuine.
Photography was that's easy. That's second nature. You know what I mean? It's really just knowing your worth, knowing when to say no, knowing when people are taking advantage of you, that's the part that comes with time, because it's, that's just, it's how it is. A lot of shady people in this world, not like you, you're a stand-up guy, and it's hard to find people like you. That's hard. That in this industry, it's hard. And that's why my circle of friends is very small, very small. I can count on one hand who I would consider a really good friend, because you just always meet people that just want a handout, want shortcuts. I see it with Tom all the time. You just, in every industry, you're going to see that. And it's just staying true to yourself and, doing the work.
Yeah, doing the work,
You know.
get the payoff.
And I'm
have to
blessed.
do the work first.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm like you. I love what I do, so it's really not work.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's I love what I do, but it's not easy. You know.
Yeah.
So
So let me ask you, if someone, you know, a celebrity or maybe not a celebrity, wanted to, you know, maybe reach out to you and talk about, you know, and maybe hire you and your team to do some photography work or editing work or maybe even some consulting,
yeah,
you know, on some things that you do.
sometimes.
How what would be the best way to reach you?
Instagram. So it's Idris Erba, IDRIS ERBA. It's a little black dot. I don't have photos of me, so it's just a black dot. So yeah, send me a DM and
At Idris Erba.
yeah, send you my info. And love to talk and help out whoever I can.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
He's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you. See you in
Right.
Vegas.
Yeah,
So-
that's right. I'll be there.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.